logic or the encryption logic of the WEP so that we can understand why we are doing the things that we're going to do within the next lecture. So we changed our encryption to be WEP, and let's see what we have over here. So assume that we have the router in our home, and when we make a request, like when we go to google.com, it makes a request. Let's assume that you're going to google.com from your phone, and your phone is connected to the router in your own home. It makes a request to the internet. So it makes a request to google.com, and google.com actually sends a response to the router, and router sends that response, transfers that response to the related device, which is your phone. So that's how you connect to the internet. That's how you actually browse the internet. Okay, so you make requests and you get responses back, and it's always the same for the phones and the MacBooks or the computers, laptops, whatever you have connected to your router. So that's easy. However, of course, we have to make this a little bit more secure. So there is a password, right? So if you don't know the password of your router, you cannot connect to that network. So if you have a password, of course, you can use that password in order to encrypt the packets that is being transmitted. And by packets, I mean the requests and the responses, and also all other packets that is being circulated inside of the network as well, like ARP requests and other things. And we're going to see them in the upcoming section as well. However, just focus on the request and responses right now. So WEP does this. So if you have a password and you have, and in my case, it's A1B2C. So the router knows this password, right? The router knows. And my device knows this password as well because I'm connected to that router anyway. So what WEP does is that it actually encrypts the key, okay? It actually encrypts these packets with the password and also with something called initialization vector or IVs, okay? So what happens is that they combine the IV with that password so that they can encrypt the packets, and router can actually decrypt them easily. Why? Because it knows the password, right? Router knows the password, my device knows the password, so all it has to do, it has to know the IVs as well. So once I send the request from my phone to the router, if I send only the IV, okay, if I send only the initialization vector, and by initialization vector I mean some packet or some string, some key, okay, anything. So my router, since it knows the password, it can gather that IV and it can decrypt that packet, right? So it can know what I'm trying to do. And it can actually does the things in reverse as well. So if I can send something from my router to my phone, then I can send the IVs along, and my phone, since it knows the password, can combine it with the received IV and it can decrypt the message, or it can decrypt the packet. So what WEP does, or WEP does, is that it doesn't actually send the password to the router because they both know, it sends the IV. And by gathering that IVs, okay, we can gather those IVs, we can listen for incoming or outgoing transmissions and capture the IVs with aerodump, okay? If we gather enough IVs, then we can break this encryption. How? Because this IVs seems to be very small, like in size, it's 24-bit. And after a while, it actually repeats itself. So since we have a repeating pattern over here, by using statistical analysis, and a tool called AirCrackNG can actually understand the password because it has the IVs, it has the decryption, it has the encryptions, and it can try to match them together and try to come up with a password easily if it can gather enough IVs, okay? And by enough, I mean 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 IVs, not one or two. And we're gonna have to listen to the router and listen to the clients for gathering that information. And AirCrackNG exactly does that for us. So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and gather IVs as much as possible, and it will decrypt the key for ourselves. Now, actually doing this is much more easier than hearing it, okay? So when you first hear it, it may seem a little bit complicated to you because we're not doing all of those things. It's already been done, it's already been executed, written, coded, whatever. But in practice, it will be very easy. So make sure you have your Kali Linux open.